right, it is. Oh, I'm Peter Brady, going through puberty. That's what happens when I get here early and I drink like 5 Diet Cokes. I'm dehydrated by the show. Yeah, and I got to drink some more. All right. It is the Jeff Dubay Show. My God, I have no voice. And we haven't even started yet. We're just a few minutes behind schedule. Traffic's a bear out there. And it's well worth the wait to talk to my old friend Brady Forsyth. And Brady, you are with the Starkey Foundation.
Starkey Hearing Foundation. Yep.
Starkey Hearing Foundation. We're going to get into detail what that entails, encompasses, and the things you do, the places you go, the joy you bring, and also, I mean, your name, like when your name popped up on my Facebook Messenger, I'm like, I know Brady Forsyth. I've known him forever, and I was trying to remember, where did I meet Brady Forsyth? I mean, I'm an idiot. Number one. I mean, it cannot be forgotten that I'm just a complete jackass.
Absolutely not.
But I mean, I've also done a little self-inflicted brain damage over the years as well. But I mean, that's the main thing I remember you from. How sadly, as a golfing outing at Hazeltine.
Yeah, that was an amazing event, wasn't it? What was that, about 5 years ago?
Was that the one that I emceed? Because I was horrible.
You did.
I was
you
horrible.
Absolutely did.
Oh God, I was the worst MC ever. It's good. Somebody else was there to co-MC, and he just
the Eagle.
Yeah,
remember?
He killed me.
University of Minnesota.
Yeah, Jankowski. You cannot. If you're going to MC or co-MC an event, you cannot do it up against Dick Jankowski. It's what he does. He's like Mr. Cheesy old school one-liner.
Oh my goodness, he's got them all.
Yes, I mean, I went to the Roger Maris Golf Tournament up in Fargo. We used to do it every year for the PA and Dubay Show, and it's amazing. You know, the turnout they get for that. One year it was co-MC'd by Dick Jankowski and Tommy Lasorda. I mean, these are two guys who could throw barbs back and forth. I mean, Tommy Lasorda was like the first guy I've seen put like Jankowski into his place, with the one-liners, because Jankowski's got a million. And they're all as old as the hills.
Absolutely.
But I mean, he's born to do it. He's like a cheesy old school comedian, kind of like Take My Wife, Please, kind of a thing.
Jankowski's hysterical. By the way,
he is. He's a good guy.
Lasorda is one of the Starkey Hearing Angel ambassadors.
Is he really?
He's been honored at Starkey Gala.
What does that mean? What does it mean to be an ambassador?
He's been an ambassador who's been making a difference in his own community, and he's been in a very philanthropic way giving back. And every year at the Starkey...
He's just somebody who likes to be heard. I mean, that's...
Exactly, but at the end of the day, as you probably know, Jeff, there's an incredible event that the Starkey Hearing Foundation puts on. It's the So the World May Hear Awards Gala.
Okay.
And he's been honored over the years, and many other people who are making a difference, so good people.
Okay, now we're going to get into the charitable work and just the fantastic things that the foundation does. I just to give people some background, there's a Starkey profit and a Starkey non-profit. You work for the non-profit.
Correct. With
the
Starkey
foundation.
Hearing Foundation on the business of giving back, the humanitarian work where we're giving the gift of hearing to those in need right here in our own community, like we did with the Minnesota Vikings last week, as well as throughout the United States and around the world. And we've been in more than 100 countries to date. And right now, when I started in September 2009, shortly after you and I had met, we were doing probably 40,000 hearing aids a year. Now we're doing more than 175,000 annually.
Wow. So where do you get your funding? Because hearing aids are not inexpensive.
No.
And the travel is enormous.
No, and the amazing thing about it is it's Bill Austin and Tanny Austin, the co-founders of the foundation. Bill Austin privately owns Starkey Hearing Technologies, the business. There's 6 hearing aid manufacturers in the world, but he spends 99% of his time on the foundation work, where he's able to use the gift of hearing to reflect caring and sharing into people's lives, showing people dignity, respect, showing them they've got value, self-worth, and ultimately hope. And the way we get the funding is through a number of different ways. An annual gala that we do, like I mentioned earlier. Last year we raised about $8.7 million.
Wow.
It's an event you expect in LA or in New York City. Here it's in Minnesota, of all places. And a lot of the big celebrities are coming in. It's not about the celebrities. It's about these celebrities that are coming in. It's a testament to Bill and Tanny Austin. So what we do is we raise that money there, and then we also get through all private donations.
Now, I get the feeling there aren't going to be a lot of cheap one-liners in the next 60 minutes of the Jeff Dubay Show. Typically, that's what the show's known for. Me making cheap jokes, one-liners, off-color, and being just an asshole. I don't think that's going to be the theme of today's show. It's a little we're classing it up a little bit today. And now we've all seen like PSAs and things of that nature. Like when somebody, like a child, hears his own voice for the first time, or hears his mother's voice for the first time. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm going to guess you've been in the room for a number of those experiences.
It's amazing, Jeff. With the way it's scaled up the work, with all of our work in the U.S. and around the world, I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of times where, it never gets old. At the end of the day, this is not a faith-based organization. We're not a political organization.
It's just
but
really.
There's something spiritually nourishing about the work that we're doing.
Sure.
When you see a 15-year-old daughter start to cry because she heard her mom say, "I love you" for the first time. It's more than giving someone a hearing aid. What you're actually doing is you're connecting people to life. You're connecting that one patient with their family, and once the family becomes a unit again, they actually become part of the community and part of the world. And at the end of the day, when we're in parts of Africa, and I've seen this, Jeff, thousands of times, parts of Africa, someone who's got hearing impairment, they're treated as if they've got evil spirits, and in some cases, they're treated as if it's contagious.
Really?
And so at the end of the day, you're giving more than just hearing to someone. You're giving them life.
Yeah. You're plugging them into the world. And I'm just grateful that the first thing they hear is their mother saying "I love you," not an episode
amazing.
of the Jeff
Or the
Dubay
father.
podcast. Can you imagine? They'd yank the thing out of their ear and they'd stomp on it.
Or the father who's worried about trying to maintain his job and put a roof over the head, or give food to the kids and pay for the bills. He's worried about that if he doesn't have that opportunity to maintain that job. So there's sustainability to this work, and it's about making impact.
Now, you contacted me when you had just returned from Africa, correct?
Correct.
And now, how long ago was that? That was just in the last month or so?
Oh, within the last couple of weeks, yeah. As a matter of fact, the Starkey Hearing Foundation just finished a run of 10.5 weeks of hearing missions straight. Started in Ethiopia. From Ethiopia, went to China.
Were you gone for 10.5 weeks?
No, I was gone for about 3 to 4 of those.
Wow.
I met up with Bill and Tanny Austin and the team, and we were in Kabul, Afghanistan, a war zone for the very first time. Talk about using hearing for a vehicle of peace and understanding to these people. You don't know what people in Afghanistan are being told about Americans, and here are some of the best ambassadors giving them life, giving them a chance at life. From there we went to Kenya to Tanzania to Zimbabwe to the Philippines. We did some missions with Manny Pacquiao and some others over in the Philippines. We're in Sri Lanka, and then we finished up in Uganda and South Africa with Richard Branson.
Now, hearing loss is hearing loss. So this question might be a bit moot, but when you are out and about, around the world, are we talking about people who are born with an impairment, or maybe you mentioned
Not
Kabul,
necessarily.
and I'm thinking about like somebody having shells go off 5 feet
so
from their
that's a great question, Jeff. Very, very savvy of you to ask the question, because it's so many different. Keep drinking those Diet Cokes. You're asking your questions.
And I would assume like somebody who's got something, they were born with some type of condition.
Congenital. There's a lot of congenital.
They would need something, a different type of hearing aid than somebody who just had a big blast go off.
And the beauty of what Bill Austin does is he listens to all 175,000 hearing aids. It's all different levels from moderate. 175,000 different hearing aids that we're giving out. He listens to every single one of them. He grades them all. He's got them from a lower powered hearing aid to a milder to a moderate to more profound and severe. And so when we're in Africa, when I'm telling you about people who have this isolation, and they're being disconnected, many of it's malaria, it's meningitis, it's AIDS, it's TB, it's typhoid, it's yellow fever.
So they've lost their
malnutrition. They could have lost it over time.
Yes.
By the way, it's not the child's fault that they got bit by a mosquito.
Right.
And next thing you know, they're given quinine to cure the malaria. Cures the malaria, wipes out your hearing.
What is quinine?
Quinine is a drug that they give you to help cure malaria when you get malaria in parts of the world.
Sure.
And so there's about 600 ototoxic drugs that are out there in the world. And so then you go to a place like Afghanistan where there's noise-induced hearing from, like you say, the shells, the grenades. I was with a family in Syria where they actually fled Syria, where all this stuff is happening with ISIS. They came down to Jordan. The father was about to be executed, had a gun to his head, and the 3 kids and the wife were watching this. And a grenade went off in the home, blew all the kids' hearings out. Saved the guy's life because he could have been shot.
Right.
And next thing you know, 3 kids have hearing loss. And we were able to restore that through the gift of hearing. That was amazing.
That is amazing. Well, so give me some highlights of your most recent trip. You met up was it pretty much Africa intensive?
No, it was a lot of Africa. We did a lot of Asia, off the coast of India for the first time in the ocean there. We were in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
And that was an amazing, amazing mission. And then we went on back to the Philippines. We've had a real strong partnership in the Philippines.
Sure.
Fit about 5,000 patients there. We're not just fitting 50 here or there. We're doing anywhere from 300, 400, 500 a day, and in parts of India where we're doing over 1,000 a day.
How many trips have you made?
I don't even know if I can count that high.
Really? In 2 years?
In the last 5 years.
5 years, my bad.
Yeah.
In the last math by me.
In the last 5 years, I don't know. It's so many different ones, and it's amazing because to see the work scale and to see Bill and Tanny Austin and what they've done with this vision to make impact in people's lives, but to also see it be sustainable.
Sure.
Because, the kid who's got hearing impairment has delayed development in their learning, their language, their speech, their cognitive skills. Even here in the U.S., you hear so much about bullying. That's a big problem. A lot of those kids who are getting bullied are kids with hearing loss.
Yes, how much work gets done here in this country?
We do over about, I think, 8,000 to 10,000 hearing aids a year through our Hear Now program. We also do domestic missions. Like I mentioned earlier, we just did a mission with the Minnesota Vikings. We're going to be doing a mission, a Super Bowl mission. It's always in the host city of the Super Bowl, and it's usually done with Garth Brooks. He hosts the event, and he's been on missions with us. He's been on 4 in the last 4 years, and his wife has been on missions with us in Mexico, and so we've do a lot of domestic missions where the need is great. Some states are better than others when it comes to funding for hearing aids. The families that we're helping are found through our customers on the business side, audiologists, ear, nose, and throat doctors, hearing aid specialists. Could be through the school systems where the families are really trying to scrape it together to, provide for the family. They can't necessarily afford hearing aids.
So when the word comes out that there's a mission coming up, it's in the works, have you seen a location or a locale come up where you're like, I'm not sure I want to go there? Or has it gotten to the point where it's so rewarding that you just don't even think twice about it? You're on board.
You're only as good as the partners you have, and that's Bill's philosophy. He lives by the philosophy that alone you can do so much, together you can change the world. You have to find the right partners wherever you go, whether it's in the U.S. or anywhere from Latin America to Southeast Asia, the Middle East, or Africa. And so we're never just going to go ahead and we land on a plane and just do a mission in Kabul. We don't just show up and do that.
Right.
So you find the right partners who can help you identify the true need and who really needs the help. A lot of it's done in a lot of these third world countries where you find deaf associations and deaf schools, because 95% of these kids that are in deaf schools, they're not deaf. And we can help that, and we can give them the gift that gives them amplification, and they're able to reconnect with families. So you have to find the right partners.
So what is the and I don't want to blame somebody for being from a primitive culture. But what is, like you said, you've seen people with hearing impairment viewed as they have evil spirits. I mean, what is the most ignorant,
not everywhere, but a lot of places.
But yeah, I mean, just examples like that. Some of the most ignorant, maybe dangerous, backwards thinking that you've had to deal with, and maybe how fearful people are of letting you help them, and how you have to overcome that.
At the end of the day, it's about caring and sharing for people. It's the bottom line of what we do. And it's really about relating to these people and getting through to them.
Sure.
When you're giving them hearing, you're really, showing them that you care for them and you love them. And it breaks down barriers all around. I've seen it happen in Palestine, where we never thought we'd even be, in a place like that in the West Bank. And here we are working with our American Foundation and with Palestinians and Israelis together,
right,
providing peace and understanding through hearing. So it breaks down barriers, and that's the beauty of who Bill Austin is. He's created a wonderful vehicle to reflect that caring and sharing into people's lives and give them a chance.
Well, I'm wondering if you're dealing with somebody who is of a primitive culture and they think that that they've got evil spirits or something. I mean, how reluctant or hesitant are they to allow you to put a device in their ear?
No, the people that we're helping, and again, it's not all around the world where it happens, but in parts of Africa where it does happen, let's just say, these people are so. First of all, they never thought they'd have the chance to hear in their lifetime.
Sure.
They never thought technology like this would even exist, nor would they ever be able to afford it in their lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
So they're desperately anxious and hopeful that they'll have that opportunity to be able to hear. So they're very, very excited. I see tears of joy. I see some people who seem like they're scared and nervous and not sure what sound is.
Well, what is the reaction from the people who have kind of put these people on the outskirts? The people that are looking down at them for not being able
we
to
don't
hear.
see a lot of those people. We just hear about how it happens in cultures in some parts of the world. The people that have maybe had doubts or never thought that this could happen, it's almost like watching a miracle in front of your very face. And it is to them, it's a modern day miracle is what it is, through this technology that Bill Austin has provided. And that's the beauty of it. And it's a huge gift to the world. And not only that, he's not just handing out hearing aids. He's there on every single mission we're on, him and his wife and the team, on every single one of them. And Jeff, it's now grown to the point where it's 10 months a year, if not more.
Wow.
So.
I mean, have you ever even imagined a more rewarding line of work? I don't want to call it work, but I mean, it is.
It's not work. You're right. I mean, even though it's my job, it's at the end of the day, it's not a job. You're right. You look at it and you just become addicted to it. You want to do more and you want to give back more.
Yeah, I can't imagine feeling that good about yourself on a daily basis. I mean, going to bed at night just like. Wow.
It's amazing, and we do have long days. We work hard. We don't leave until the last patient's done. we're not looking for that 3, 4, or 5 o'clock flight that we have to be on. We wait until the very last patient's done. We get there first, bright and early. Some of these people, Jeff, are walking 50, 60 kilometers in the bush of Africa to come see us. So
Sure.
we want to be there for them.
So I would imagine that some of these places, give me a place that was extraordinarily difficult just to get to. I mean, there've got to be some remote places. I mean, are you in some sort of like outrigger? You're going through jungles and rivers.
We are, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's got to be tough to get.
And where are you staying when you're going to these kind of places?
You know, what's really nice about the work that we do, again, you're only as good as the partners you have. So the partners we work with are also networks and work with community organizations within the areas where we're going. But we stay in hotels. Sometimes the nice hotels actually donate the hotel space to us because we're giving back to their people. But we want to stay at a place where we have a
water park? No, I'm just kidding.
a place to lay your head down at night. But at the end of the day, there have been some tough places to get to. I mean, Dodoma in Tanzania, we had to go on a long road off the beaten path and into a village that it took a couple hours to get to. Northern Uganda, and where Joseph Kony, this terrible man, has gone around killing people all over the place. Where we helped a lady by the name of Sister Rosemary, CNN Hero of the Year in 2007, and she helped a whole entire community that was from a 5-region area, and these people were getting on a bus and driving 10, 15, 20 hours just so they can come receive the gift of hearing.
Wow. So I assume you've gone into places where you maybe were not completely guaranteed safety? I mean, where there's some risk involved, or you maybe had some fear involved?
We've never had that issue. I mean, we've got great security, great partners with whoever we work, and we're doing a thing that's a higher calling. It's a higher calling with what we're doing, and things can happen anywhere, whether it's here in Minneapolis or LA or whatever it may be.
I get all kinds of trouble here. I don't need to go to Uganda to find it.
Exactly.
That's for sure. So you talk about having to get off the beaten path for a couple hours to get to a remote spot. Have you ever had to stay like an overnight in a remote spot?
Absolutely, yeah. Matter of fact, we did a mission with some of the NFL guys. Each year in March in the off season, we bring a bunch of the NFL guys who join us, typically in Africa. This year they'll be in Southeast Asia with us, but up in northern Uganda and Gulu, you're lucky if you have running water in some of these places.
Sure,
and
sure.
It's an interesting environment, but at the end of the day, you feel really good, and it's quite rewarding with what you've done throughout the day, and you're ready to wake up and do it again the next day.
I'd imagine. I mean, I can't imagine things being much more rewarding than this type of work. Brady Forsyth, Starkey Foundation, is the guest, fresh up a hearing mission. Is that what you call them, hearing missions?
Hearing missions, correct.
A hearing mission to Africa. Starkey Foundation, a nonprofit that takes care of folks right here at home and all around the world to make sure that people can get their hearing issues taken care of. You talk about like being in Kabul or finding people who have had their hearing taken away through traumatic experience. What about soldiers?
Absolutely, we've helped soldiers. Matter of fact, we helped them in countries all around the world. When we were just in Uganda this last March with some of the NFL guys, we were helping some of the soldiers who had lost their hearing from being in wars before. Same thing in the Congo. We did a mission with Serge Ibaka from Oklahoma City Thunder, and same thing. A lot of soldiers who needed the help. We were just in Afghanistan, same thing, helping people there. When you have people who have been in noise-induced environments like wars and all, I mean, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Bill's
really
a big fan of giving back to vets and Tanny and the foundation, and that's why we like to give back and help all people of all walks and all faiths.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And then you talk about NBA players, NFL players. You talk about Garth Brooks. I got to believe that this is the kind of thing that celebrities get in line to be a part of.
They absolutely love it. And again, it's a testament to both Bill and Tanny Austin. And they don't just talk about the work, they're doing the work. And outside of all the wonderful work that they're doing to give the gift of hearing to those in need here in the U.S. and around the world, they're also supporting a lot of these other great causes where some of these celebrities are actually doing something to try to make an impact in their own community or around the world.
Right. So
that's why we partner together and we make collective impact together.
And I've got to believe you've got a lot of sincerity in this volunteerism. And I say that because, I mean, I've been around, major league teams, NFL teams.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount of charity work that's almost required of them. I mean, charity work's charity work. I'm not snubbing my nose. I mean, you're out there doing good. You're out there doing good. But a lot of them are kind of dragged a little bit along because they're not into it. Their heart's not into it. It's just part of the game, and they know it. It's part of the package. But I got to believe that the people who sign up with you and go all over the globe to help these people, I got to believe these are people who are the sincerest form of volunteer.
Absolutely, and I think what they love about the work is what we do is it's immediate. I mean, it's something where when you turn the switch on and you give that power of the gift of hearing to them, you're immediately seeing a life changed. And it's something that's tangible, and it's not only something that's immediate, it's something that's lasting, and it has a legacy, and it's sustainable. And so you can know that when they're getting involved, they're making not only an impact in that person's life, they're making an impact in that entire family's life and all of their friends around them.
Can you give me the single most emotional, situation you've encountered?
Well, shoot, so many,
tough.
but if I were to go off the top of my head, being in Palestine in the West Bank, it was right after the Arab Spring. We were going to do, Bill at Austin had sent me over to Israel. Actually, I indirectly blame Garth Brooks for this because of the partnership we have.
It's all his fault.
He does these doctor-free zones throughout the United States, and it's an amazing thing what he's doing. They just opened one up in the Children's Hospital in Minneapolis here that Bill and Tanny and the foundation helped to support. But they were talking about us doing a mission in Israel with the Sheba Medical Center of Tel Shamir in Tel Aviv. Largest hospital in the entire region. People from Iran to Iraq to Palestine to Israel to Ethiopia come there and get treated by the very best of all doctors, and it's known as a hospital without boundaries. And so anyway, that being said, I flew all the way over there because to get Bill to go over, he's always working on people when he's not on missions back at our factory in Minneapolis.
Sure.
And so I went over to meet with the partners, and at the end of the day, came back and reported back and said they want to do a mission with us. They're really excited. We're going to help the people of Israel, and it's going to be an amazing mission. And he told me, well, what about the people of the West Bank and Palestine? And so went back to the West Bank and met with all the partners there. And long story short, in 2011, we had our very first, what has become an annual mission to the West Bank, where Americans, Israelis, and I told you Palestinians work together for the people of Palestine to give them to get to hearing. And what was amazing is when we first crossed the border, we went with Shimon Peres's son-in-law, who at that time was the president, his son-in-law and 14 other Israeli doctors who had to sign waivers saying if I'm taken or whatever, it's not Israel's responsibility. It was quite tense at the border.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And you can imagine that they were questioning what was Shimon Peres's son-in-law wanting to do that for. They're not allowed in the West Bank.
Sure.
We cross the border, a truck pulls up, 15 machine guns get out, the Palestinian Authority, and you could have cut the tension with a knife. And they had the hand on the trigger, sort of on the outside, looking. I don't know if they knew if there was an agenda or what. The very, very same people who, there was a sergeant, like a leader general there, who was barking orders at some of the soldiers and speaking in Arabic, and I didn't understand. It just sounded scary, and I wasn't sure what was going on. This very same guy started to relate to us and see that we were helping people that he knew in the West Bank that he never thought could hear ever again. And so he started actually feeding us patients, bringing them to the chairs, and it wasn't about just giving that person the gift of hearing. It was also about relating to him and showing him dignity and respect and caring and sharing for him. And so, anyway, one guy shows up on my fitting chair, and he starts to yell at me in Arabic. And I'm like, what is he saying? And so the interpreter said, that's my cousin. Don't bother with him. You can't help him. You'll never be able to help him here. Let's help some of these other people. And I looked at him, and I said, no. I waved my finger, no. Sort of like to get me Matumbo. No, not my house.
Right.
And I brought him over, and he actually gave the gift of hearing to his cousin, of which he thought would never hear in his life. And this very tough guy who had been barking the orders to people started to uncontrollably break down, and instead of ba, it was a ba, ba. And I said to the interpreter, what did he just say to you? And he said, what you just did for my cousin, he said, I would take a bullet for you, and you're now considered family to me. And every single one of those soldiers who were on the outside, wondering what the agenda was, all got involved, all got engaged, became our translators. So it was very emotional. And you see that all around the world, hundreds and thousands of those stories.
Well, like you said, that's the beauty of it being so instant. I mean, it's not like with a procedure and we'll get back to you in 3 months and see how it went,
And it went from them driving us to and from the site, taking a different passage each way, wondering about security, to them hugging us, goodbye, and we'll see you tomorrow type thing.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
It was cool.
Yeah, and I mean, somebody screaming Arabic at me on the West Bank is not going to make me comfortable.
No.
I mean, it's going to be a little tense.
These people were amazing.
But
and
by the end of it, it's so disarming. It's unbelievable.
And the beautiful thing about it, Jeff, is now these are all of my Facebook friends. These are now my brothers and family from the Palestinian nation now, and it's been amazing that we go back every year, and they are so great and wonderful to work with, and they look forward to the missions every year. Now it's expanded into the Middle East, into Lebanon and Jordan, and we've been in Egypt before, and we're just doing a lot of great things.
Let's take a break. We'll be back with more Brady Forseth from the Starkey Hearing Foundation.
Hi, I'm Terry Daniel, and I've been a voice actor in Minneapolis for over 2 decades now. How often are you getting compliments on your voice? Now is the time to do something about it. If you're interested in getting into voiceovers, please contact me via my website at universalvoicetalent.com.
You know, folks who've listened to the show, they know that I lived in the Uptown area here, right down Pleasant Avenue, as a matter of fact, and on the corner of Pleasant Lake is where Uptown Pond is. And I have been here numerous times, had numerous business dealings with them. It's just a nice place with good, honest people. Bob Jacobson, the owner, you run the place. You've always been good to me.
Thanks, Jeff. We try. That's part of our business. We're here to help people, and so everybody walks in the door. We hope we can help.
Well, what I've always appreciated is when people are nice to people who are the low man on the totem pole. Like when I was a bat boy, I liked the star guys who were nice to the bat boy.
Right.
And I mean, I came in here and you guys didn't know who I was. You didn't know I had a radio show, and you treated me great. I mean, just a guy off the street.
Listen, that's the idea with I think a smaller family type business. Somebody walks in the door. We don't want to let them see everybody gets treated the same way, and we hope that's the case. And we don't want to see them leave without. We try our very best.
It's really easy. It's easy. It's low pressure. Good, honest people. Right on the corner of Lake Street and Pleasant Avenue. You guys got to check out Uptown Pond. Why I still get caught off guard by returns from break. It's shocking. I mean, they only did radio for 15 years. I mean, commercial breaks, they do end, and shows resume. I don't know why I'm always caught off guard, but why? I'm so easily distracted. I mean, I got my Facebook open here, my Facebook page, and I'm getting some feedback, and it's just people say nice things, and I get so easily distracted. It's just ridiculous. But let me ask you this, Brady, and I don't mean this as like to be like a smart ass. I mean, honestly, what were your qualifications for getting in on something like this?
Well, I've been in nonprofit management since 1993 out of college.
But do you have a medical background? Do you need medical background?
No, don't need to be in medical background. You just have to have a caring heart, someone who wants to make a difference in people's lives, and we can shape and mold the rest. And never thought I'd ever go to work for Bill and Tanny Austin and the Starkey Hearing Foundation, but I believe someone upstairs had a different plan for me in life, and been in the nonprofit management for a long time now.
Well, speaking of shape and mold, I mean, you see these people on like a one-time. It's not like they come in for a fitting and then you get back to them a month later. I mean, how do you get everything to fit? I mean,
good question.
I mean, that's kind of a nuts and bolts question.
Yeah, absolutely. In all of our missions, when you watch some of our videos that you've seen, Jeff, that's there's 3 phases to our missions. That's phase 2. That's the delivery of care, the crowning moment where they're receiving the gift of hearing.
So there is a follow-up.
Yeah, so there's 3 phases. The phase 1, which you don't see on the front end, is all the work when you had to prepare 10,000 patients to be seen in the Philippines or Peru or 5,000 in Ethiopia, whatever it may be. And you have to work with all those partners. I do all the identification, the screening. You take custom ear impressions on every single patient we see. And from those ear impressions on Bill Austin and the Foundation's dime, we are making custom ear molds that are given to all these people. So it's not like small, medium, and large. It's really custom fit to each and every single patient we see. So if you were going to be fit with us on phase 2 somewhere around the world and you sit down, you're going to sit down with your custom molds that were already done on the phase 1. And while we're talking about phase 1 and thinking about what phase 2's delivery of care is going to be, we're thinking about when we leave Kenya and go on to Tanzania or somewhere else, who's on the ground. So what we do with the fundraising, a lot of the fundraising dollars is to, hire full-time and or part-time country coordinators who are trained on our model to provide good aftercare and sustainability to the work we do.
That's unbelievable. So is there a phase 3?
That's phase 3.
Oh,
that's the aftercare and sustainability to the work that we're doing.
See, sometimes I can't keep I'm good at names, but not good at phases.
Wow. And I'm sorry I didn't get to it.
Yeah. So what's in the works? I mean, I gotta believe there's always something planned.
Yeah, no, it's rare that we're actually back here as long as we've been here since Bill and Tanny just came back and the foundation team. Right before Christmas, we go back out on the road. We're going to be in the end of January going to Mexico and Guadalajara and Cautetlan. And then we do the day before the Super Bowl, a Super Bowl mission in Phoenix.
Sure.
And then we go from there back to Mexico into Toluca near Mexico City, and then on to the Dominican Republic. As you know, that's sort of the mecca for baseball, so we'll probably have some good Major League Baseball players down there. And then we go off to the races into India and lots of Southeast Asia and Africa.
You ever, and this is just kind of a smart-ass question, but you ever pick up a bug overseas? You ever come home with something like...
Absolutely. not typically.
I mean, there's
come
risk
home.
involved.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes I was just in Kenya not too long ago on even though it was a nice hotel, I made the mistake of having the seafood buffet.
That is not smart.
Probably not a smart move.
No.
But I did lose a good weight loss program. And I lost probably 9 or 10 pounds. Put it back, though, when I got back here. But anyway, you can catch some of these bugs, and whether it's from food or from whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, more than likely, that typically doesn't happen. It's rare.
Well, with the help of a Starkey hearing aid, the restaurant manager was able to hear you complain. You let him have it. I'm hoping you aired him out. Yeah. So talk about more about what you do here and how people in need get in touch with you and how they become a part of what you do here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously anyone who wants to learn about the foundation, they can just log on to starkeyfoundation.org. Wonderful site. You can check out some of the videos, see the work that we do. You can hear a lot about what I've been discussing here and learn about our model.
Who qualifies for your help? I mean, certain income
in the U.S. or around the world?
Well, kind of anywhere.
It basically the ones in most need. We're not talking about someone who can afford to buy hearing aids. Have we maybe seen some people in other parts of the world where maybe they could have afforded? It's all on the trust system.
I was going to say hard to gauge over there.
But in the U.S. here, I mean, the strong partners that help us to qualify the people through the school systems, through the customers on the business side, like I said earlier, audiologists, ENT doctors, and hearing aid dispensers are the ones that helping us find these people who they know for a fact they could never afford to buy hearing aids from their place. So those are the people we want to help, and we have a whole system and process and protocol in place for that.
So I would assume it's a much different process, local as opposed to abroad. I mean, do people come into clinics? I mean, you're out there in the field helping people and going to villages overseas. But, I mean, you're not knocking on doors here, I would assume. I would assume people come, they're special places they can go.
Yeah, and the way we work on domestic is the partners that we have here in the U.S. and the customers we work with in the business, they help us to coordinate this. And we do have audiologists at the Center for Excellence at the Starkey Hearing Foundation who help to coordinate the efforts here. There's a lot of similarities, actually, to the models that we do domestically and internationally. Because there's still 3 phases that are involved with everything we do. Just sometimes there are extra things you have to think about when you're going into Afghanistan or thinking about going into Africa or Southeast Asia or wherever it may be. A lot of logistics, there's a lot of transportation, there's flying, getting around, buses through mountains, whatever it may be. We spent about 8 hours going through mountains in Peru not too long ago, trying to get to the next city in Huancayo from Cusco. So
were you riding burros?
No.
I can just see you on top of it, just riding a donkey across the mountains.
No, that'd be a rough one. But
so you're in some sort of all-terrain vehicle?
I
mean, a burro is an all-terrain vehicle.
Well, what's really nice about the partners we have, whether it's a Rotary Club or a Lions Club or a church or a synagogue or a mosque, whatever, they help us with a lot of those additional expenses that outside of the hearing help. Transportation, feeding all the patients, providing all the chairs, providing all the tables, getting tents. I mean, the sun can beat down on you in some of these countries where you're going, or in the case where we're in South Africa, it can start to pour down on you on the rainy season. So, you have to be prepared with everything that happens.
Now, this might be a little bit of a stretch, but I know when relief or aid goes to some parts of the world, that it is grabbed and gobbled up by those with power, by those with weapons. Back in the day in Somalia. You'd have warlords that jump on the food shipments. Do you guys ever get any threats? Anybody ever want to come in and take from you that's something that's not theirs to profit? I mean, do you ever need protection?
It's nothing like that, but you do see corruption in some parts of the world.
Of course.
But that's when you're only as good as the
table.
When you have strong partners, you're only as good as the partners, like I mentioned earlier. They help us vet out who we're working with, and so when we're bringing millions of dollars worth of hearing help to a country, you don't want to be taxed on what you're giving to these people, and be held at customs and have it be put aside or whatever it may be when you're there where these people have been waiting their whole life or years for us to come to them and give them the gift of hearing. So, that's why you have to really rely and vet everything out on the front end and the back end.
Let's take a final break and come back and wrap it up. Brady Forsyth, Starkey Hearing Foundation on the Jeff Dubay Show. Okay, last year, 2013, I lived just down the road, Pleasant Avenue, just a few blocks here from Uptown Pond, which is right on the corner of Lake and Pleasant. And, there are a couple of times, you just
try to get to that next payday, maybe a couple of bucks short. If you've got some items, jewelry, diamonds, electronics, I mean, you come down here and they give you a fair price for it, and then you come back a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever, you get it back at a real reasonable price.
So we're very competitive, we hope, on different angles, in different ends and different articles. Computers, electronics, TVs, jewelry. We buy, we give loans, and we also have emphasis on diamond jewelry too, that we also try and give credit for the best we can. We're specialists in that area also, so it's an all-round sort of combination.
Well, it's a great place. It's a nice, clean place with honest people, and I tell you what, it's got a real family feel to it. As a matter of fact, it's tied into Strauss family, and I go way back with the late, great Jerry. So, I mean, these are people I know and people I trust. You can find them on Twitter, too, by the way. They're at Uptown Pawn, and also on Facebook, Uptown Pawn, and uptownpawn.net.
Check out the books at Uptown Pawn. Didn't get what you want for Christmas? Well, you know what? Somebody else got what they didn't want. Now it's at Uptown Pawn. So go there and check it out. You might find it. You might find what you want. It's a great place with friends. Ooh, that was not a
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's not exactly the same using a mouse.
No,
to
fade.
As
I know.
it is
No,
to do it on a board.
I know. I can only imagine. I'm not the smoothest touch with the mouse to begin with, especially the little pad mouse there in the middle of the keyboard.
Yes.
But
not ideal.
Brady Forsyth, Starkey Hearing Foundation is the guest on the Jeff Dubay Show. Jason McGovern, as always, the producer sidekick. Let's take a minute just to promote the Alive and Social Network, which is something Sean Bernard and Scott O'Malley have tirelessly worked to put together and promote. And it started with just us, just Sean and I and Scott here at Devil's Advocate 3 months ago. But since then, it has grown leaps and bounds. I mean, now you can catch Suhan, Jim Suhan's show, Suhan Unfiltered. Go to SuhanUnfiltered.com. His guest list is phenomenal. If you just go to Spreaker and click on Alive and Social, and you'll see a list of all the different shows on Alive and Socials. Click on Suhan, the episodes, they list the guests. You'll get into like a Netflix marathon type of thing, listening to the Suhan shows. He's got Terry Ryan live at the Local tomorrow. So I mean, just a fantastic show, worth checking out. The Great Northern Sex Cast with Kelly Guest.
I believe there was a new episode, or first episode actually ever just released.
Very cool.
Great Northern Sex Cast.
You've got the Wednesday Night Music Showcase with Last Ride Band. You got Friday Night live band karaoke with O'Gara's. Lest we forget the pubcast with yourself and Molly.
Tomorrow night after Wild Wednesday, and then at O'Gara's on Thursday night. So yeah.
Yep. And then there's Colleen Cruz now working with. Is she working with Rusty Gainby? I believe Colleen Cruz with Rusty Gainby.
And mentioned Molly Burke is back on the pubcast tomorrow night. So.
It's a triumphant return.
We've missed her.
And we got to get into what's wrong with our Wild squad. They had the nice win against Toronto, and then go on the road and just absolutely took the gas pipe against the Dallas Stars, and it is not looking pretty. We got to get a second half charge out of the squad to get them into the playoffs, and I'm not sure. I'm terribly optimistic it's going to happen.
Hard to watch.
Not with the goaltending they have. Not with a guy named Darcy Kemper who gets pulled almost out of half of his starts. You can't win like that in the NHL.
His save percentage right now has got to be god-awful.
I just can't imagine a guy who can only finish about half of his starts in the NHL. That is just. There's not even a word for that because it's unprecedented.
Well, you know what it's like to finish half your starts.
But up. To the cheap shot, followed by the rim shot. It's all fair game, as always has been on the Jeff Dubay Show. Am I leaving some shows out? I probably am, but I plugged pretty well.
I think we got it.
I plugged pretty well the old Alive and Social Network.
Uh-huh.
So we're in home stretch mode here. Might actually wrap this one up a little prematurely because I'm just sick as hell. I know one of the first rules of radio, I think they taught us at Brown, was don't ever tell somebody you're not feeling well because they don't care.
Right.
This isn't
and
radio.
they can't tell necessarily.
I'm sick. I mean, I had a bad fever last night. I was shaking. I was like curled up in a ball doing the shiver thing. And
it's the worst.
And I said, it's coming back now. I thought I was okay all day long, and now it's coming back. And I mean, my body hurts, and my face feels like it weighs 100 pounds. And
it is tough to do radio when you're low energy.
People
don't realize how much energy goes into this. Yes, it's mostly mental energy, but it's a lot of energy.
Yeah, I mean, after shows, I would crash. I mean, like at ESPN, we'd do 4 hours. I'd get on the bus, and I'd be asleep before the next stop.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
takes it all out of you.
It is what it is. I mean, I know we're not digging ditches. I'm not looking for sympathy. But I am fading fast. We might just wrap it up. I mean, we're gonna do some time with Brady, and then just shoot the shit with some sports and do some casual stuff. But the casual stuff, might just have to wait till next week on the Jeff Dubay Show. Because
no, we got a full hour tomorrow night for
yes,
the old Wild Wednesday. So
yes,
we're
we
good.
do. We do indeed. So Brady, thanks for coming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Anything you need to plug in terms of a website or any way for people to get a hold of you or to get in touch with the foundation? Anything at all?
Absolutely. Best way, check us out. www.starkeyfoundation.org.
And if people know somebody in need, somebody with a hearing issue.
Absolutely. Same thing. Check out the website. You can get all the contact information there. You can reach us through Facebook, Twitter.
How about if
Instagram.
somebody wants to be a part of these things and go overseas with you guys?
Absolutely. We have a wonderful message board there where people can contact our office, and a message will get directly to me and our team. We'll be able to follow up with you and get you on board.
Brady, your stories have been, without a doubt, the most positive thing in my life in the last 40 to 50 days.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks for coming by. Appreciate it. Thanks, Jason.
God bless.
And thanks to Devil's Advocate, our host from day one. We'll be back tomorrow at Burger Mo's with the Wild Wednesday.